I'm an no spend year, and this is everything I did to prep myself beforehand. Hello, if you're new here, I'm Chrissie. Nice to meet you. And if you're not new here, welcome back. I know it looks very, very different around here, but I hope you'll join me. Let's go back to the beginning. 8 weeks ago, I challenged myself to a no spend year, and I've been documenting the journey on TikTok. It exploded to a point that I didn't even think would be possible. I'd like to preface this by recapping the rules because I think when someone hears a no spend challenge, they are a little confused, understandably, and especially when it's a no spend challenge for a year. So bills are not included, essentials are not included. So please do not forfeit your bills. Do pay what you need to, pay the people you need to. I was just simply looking at things that are non-essential. So habits that I used to have would be things like buying lunch every day when I go to work. That was probably about £60 a week, which adds up to about 4 6 is 24, £240 a month. I'm talking buying coffees every single day, which probably cost me maybe like £5 to £7 a day for 3 days a week. 15 times 4 is 60. So that's already like £310 on next to nothing. Going to dinner with friends because that's super expensive. Ordering takeaway, buying clothes, and then just going out mindlessly. I think throughout this process, I've learned very quickly how easy it is for things to add up. I've spent the last year kind of not thinking too much about what I'm spending where. And now that I've really combed through in minute detail, it is a disgusting amount. It's really just a way to kind of reset my own money mindset and make sure that I'm spending more intentionally as opposed to just having money coming in and then going out again. I don't want to get into a habit of lifestyle creep. So I've tried to really take control of my finances. And I think a hard reset will help me figure out what's important to me, what I like spending on, what I don't like spending on, where I'd like more of my money to go, as opposed to constantly feeling frustrated that it's just gone and I don't know where it went to. So a no spend year is extreme. Some people do months, days, as I mentioned before, but this is everything that I did to prep me if you're interested in not spending for the rest of the year. Step 1. I dyed my hair back to black. You guys probably wouldn't know this because there is no history of my hair on this channel, but for the last year and a half, my hair was cinnamon brown, which was extremely high maintenance. I was spending about £200 to £300 every time I went to the hair salon to do a treatment, re-up my color, that type of thing. And that was maybe every few months. It wasn't very often, but it does add up. And I found that I don't want to be spending on beauty treatments during this time. So I thought I'd make my life easier by dyeing it back to black. And you know what? It's been a nice, refreshing change. So yes, it's going kind of back to a different color, but yeah, you get the point. I think it would be good to look at beauty treatments in your life and things that maybe you don't necessarily see as an essential to you. If it's essential to you, by all means, go all out because you can make the rules for this. And I think that's what makes it fun. But yeah, I stopped doing my hair at the salon just to save some more. Next up, it was looking through my monthly bills and just kind of seeing what expenses can go and what can stay. So I had a spreadsheet that I was using last year. It's very simple, not worth sharing. I'll just show you a screenshot of what it looked like. And it listed out every single expense that was a monthly ongoing expense. That included phone bill, Netflix, any other credit card bills that I had, groceries, just things that are coming out and will come out monthly. They're almost essential, but it's also seeing where can I cut and what do I need to keep. So I had a system of red, orange, and green. And again, this was before I decided I was doing a no spend year. So I guess I've been kind of looking at my finances for the last year, and this is the more aggressive version. But from last year, around April, or maybe it was the year before that, I can't remember, not the point. I had listed out all the bills that I had, and I was on a mission to cut back each quarter. Some of them aren't things that you can just cut back on straight away. So it was just looking at the reds, which are these need to go ASAP, the oranges, which is these need to go, but they have a contract end date, for example, a phone bill. And then I had green, which was things that okay, these are monthly expenses, but they're not going anywhere because I want them there. So things like my gym membership would stay. My phone bill, I decided I don't want my phone on a contract anymore. And then credit card bill, that's something that I just wanted completely gone. So I was working towards paying that off. So yeah, cut through your bills. And also I included subscriptions in this section because baby, subscriptions add up. Like they add up to a ridiculous amount from Amazon, Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, whatever other added Amazon subscription you have also add up. And I I love a subscription service, okay? Like that to me is a non-negotiable. In I love watching my shows in high definition when I want to watch my shows. So I kept those in like the green area, but that doesn't mean that they're completely non-negotiable. It just kind of meant that like I want these here. This is where I want to spend my money. But it didn't mean that I wasn't willing to cut them down. Nails. This is actually really interesting because I stopped doing my nails last year, August, and I also shared this journey on TikTok. But essentially, I was really frustrated with the nail shop experience and how much I was spending for that experience. So that's like a monthly spend of £80 for a manicure and pedicure. That was just like average, not anything that I necessarily enjoyed. And by not going to the nail salon for the next year, I could save up to 800 £960 roughly. Yeah, that sounds about right. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but I think a monthly expense of £80 is huge. And I didn't enjoy the experience of getting my nails done. I didn't care to be there for 4 hours, and I didn't like the money leaving my account. So it only made sense to cut this out. So I guess this was actually the first thing that I did, but at the time I didn't know that a no spend year was coming for me. So no nails. They're not done right now, but I do usually do my nails at home, and I actually find it like a really therapeutic experience. Like I just like to sit and do them myself whilst watching a show, waiting for them to dry, picking a new color each week. Like that to me is therapeutic, and it's a lot cheaper. So wins to that. Step 4. Okay, so this to me feels like such a good hack because, well, maybe I'm new to this world, but I feel like so many people just don't pay attention to these things. But rewards banking is your friend. Here's why. So when it comes to like earning high interest or like earning back, that usually happens in like investing. And that can be like a whole different daunting world for so many of us. So when you can pay attention to what your everyday banking is doing, you've hacked the code. Last year, April, I signed up to Chase because they were doing 1% cash back on everyday spending. 1%. Now, I have never, forgive me if I just don't know the finance world, but I've never like had cashback be so easily accessible. Cashback are usually like these pyramid scheme programs that you have to sign up to that have really confusing websites, and there's a load of rules and terms and conditions that you just don't understand, so you don't bother. But Chase's 1% cashback was so simple. It's literally just on everyday spending. Some things like don't apply, like direct debits or like transferring money between your accounts, but everyday spending like groceries, getting taxis, getting on the bus, getting transport, you can get 1% back on all of that. And it doesn't sound like a lot because it's not. But if it adds up over time, sometimes you just have like an extra chunk of money that you didn't put there. Like it's just free money to have. So because I'm on this no spend year, there are days where like I might not have planned ahead and kind of need to spend. And then when I look in my everyday cashback rewards, there's like £15 in there or 20. And I'm like, yay, I get free lunch today because it was just a reward. So cashback's your friend. And then obviously there's things like Amex, which is a credit card. So please use responsibly. Don't be getting an Amex card just because I said Amex has rewards. But having the points to then use back on things like whether if you decide to travel during a no spend year or just travel at any point, just like these really quirky ways to either earn money back or have your money work hard for you are so useful, and they don't take much. It just takes literally looking at websites, seeing which bank accounts have the highest interest savings account and the best rewards for everyday spending will be the difference between having your money work a little bit harder for you rather than just having it sit in an account that isn't really worth anything. So yes, check out your rewards banking. I started planning my meals a lot more further in advance. And I think this has been the hardest thing for me because I do not cook. I do not enjoy cooking. I do not like spending time in the kitchen. Like this was probably my biggest downfall, I guess you could call it, just because it's an area that I just do not enjoy. I think it takes up so much time, and I have quite like a packed day. I don't want to cook after work or between working, or anyway, you get the point. I don't want to do it. And I think because of that, I was spending a lot on, again, lunches, takeaways, a ridiculous amount, because one takeaway, one meal for the night is like £30 plus, probably up to 40. And then what am I going to eat the next night? So we're back to a takeaway again. And then because of that, I started doing like meal delivery services, which are great for convenience, but when you actually add it up, you're not saving a dime, you're spending more. So I had to get really savvy about cooking and planning groceries. And it started off being the most tedious thing ever. Like, I did not enjoy this, but I really had to change my mindset around convenience. And I think this is a massive part of how we spend. It's just that just because something's convenient, we just tap. We have a contactless card. It doesn't feel like real money. We have Apple Pay. So it doesn't feel like you're actually spending, but that mindless spending habit adds up over time. And I really had to kind of sit myself down and be like, okay, like, you're not allowed to buy a takeaway, so enjoy cooking. Get a grip, like, grow up. Yes, grocery shopping will go up just because you're buying more food to make for lunch, to have snacks. Just make sure you don't buy a takeaway. However, overall, it is ridiculously cheaper than living on takeaways and eating out just for the convenience of it. And I think one thing that I've learned massively through that is that it really taught me to just like slow down and not be so entitled to need something now and get it now. Like, there's nothing wrong with spending a lot of extra time to cook after a long day. It's even a great way to decompress after spending 8 hours looking at a screen, just me and the meal in front of me. And also, it's really helped with organization, because I think a huge part of spending is like not planning ahead, like not thinking about what you're going to eat for dinner tomorrow, what you're going to eat for lunch for the rest of the week. And I've spent the last 5 years of my life trying to get organized. I've spoken about this more on TikTok, but yeah, I spent the last 5 years of my life trying to be more organized, and I could just never do it. However, throughout this challenge, even though it's only been 8 weeks, I am an organization queen. Like, somebody get Marie Kondo on the phone. Is that her name? I don't know. I have gotten so much better at like planning meals for the week, making sure I have enough food for the next 2 weeks, picking meals that last me longer. Like, I basically hacked adulting through this no spend challenge. And I know I sound dramatic, but honestly, like, I feel like a completely different person. Like, it's step number 6, final one. Let everybody in your life know the deal, because I think there is a huge social expectation when it comes to friends going out for expensive dinners, or maybe traveling, or just there's just so many expectations from people around you if they don't know that you're making a huge switch. And I think just communicating with everyone, like, okay, look, I'm not spending right now, means that you can then decide on alternative social plans. So instead of going out for dinner, maybe you go to each other's houses and have a movie marathon. And final one, let everyone around you know what you're doing, whoever you're comfortable with, just so that there isn't an expectation for you to have the same social plans that you might have had before. So if you're used to going to expensive dinners, maybe you could go to each other's houses and make dinner, or do a sip and pain, or have a supper club. Maybe go for a walk and a coffee date instead. Just things that are alternatives to going out for dinner. What I found really interesting is when I posted this on TikTok, everyone was like, but what about meeting with friends? And it's like, there's so many things you can do with your friends if you think outside the box. But I think we've all defaulted to expensive dinner dates because that's the easiest thing to do, but it adds up so much. And especially in London, where like so many places that you go out to dinner for are so underwhelming, but so expensive, and you finish the meal thinking, I wish I had that £120 that I spent right now. So yeah, just let everyone know around you, because accountability is a hell of a drug. I just think like when people around you kind of know what you're doing. I don't know about you, but I'm a competitive person. So it's like, if I tell somebody I'm not spending money, I'm not spending money, because I need to prove I'm good at what I'm saying I'm doing. So yeah, whether you're doing a no spend month, a no spend year, or a no spend week, I hope this video helped you kind of get to grips with what to expect, or kind of what to do first, or kind of just how to go about it. I think the whole point of this is to change your money mindset, reset your financial habits, and kind of just feel more in control of your finances. I know how easy it is to kind of just feel like everything's slipping through your fingers. And the whole point of this is to get better at managing how we spend. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more things like this, comment below. If you've done a no spend year before, a no spend day, I'd love to hear about it. And finally, subscribe for more videos like this, as well as more videos on adulting.